Welcome to Cool Explorations.
Remember, guys, if you like these videos, just hit that little like button and subscribe to there so you don't miss any of the future videos.
Climate change, carbon footprint, environmental protester, and many other terms are used these days for environmental issues. I, for one, am not a believer in all of this climate talk. That is not to say our climate is not changing. It is. I simply don't buy into destroying our economy and starving ourselves to death to save an environment that has been around for longer than we have. According to the same scientists who now declare we will be the end of the world. Sorry, but they have been predicting the end of the world since longer than any of us has been around, and yet we are still here. Remember Y2K? We as humans are so self-centered and like to think more of ourselves than is deserved. That is exactly what taking the credit for everything that is happening in the world is an example of. We want to take credit for storms and the weather. We want to take credit for icebergs melting. What then was the cause of the first ice age? What then was the cause of the Great Flood? What then was the cause of the ice age shifting to our current temperatures and climate? The Earth has been adjusting its own climate for its entire existence. Give credit where credit is really due, whether you believe in God or not. Either give credit to God, Allah, Mother Nature, or whatever God or figurehead your faith or lack of faith demands credit. We are not the ones solely responsible for all of this. That is giving ourselves far more credit than what we deserve. We need to take care of the planet, sure. Recycle, reduce our footprint, stop littering, etc. Take care of the environment and nature and the animals of the earth. Yes, 100%. Stop and think about it though. Answer the following questions. You have a job, right? And at that job, what do you use? Power tools? Takes energy to make. A vehicle? Takes energy to make and energy to run, operate, and maintain with no really safe way of recycling without, again, using energy. A computer takes energy to make, use, and maintain. Again, no real safe way of recycling without using energy. A cell phone takes energy to make, use, and recharge. Recycling, again, takes lots of energy. Manual tools takes energy to make. Furniture and desk, well, that takes energy to make. And disposal's not really good for the environment. Money takes energy to produce. Basically, it comes down to the majority of things you use at work will take energy that is bad for the environment to produce, use, operate, and recycle, if they get recycled. You own a home, right? What do you think was used to build that home? Tools, wood, plastic, metals, etc. What went into making the tools and supplies used to make that house? Dirty energy. How much energy, battery power, went into making that home you love? How do you heat and cool that house? You use power in your house as well. You own a cell phone? You own a TV? You own a computer? You own a stereo or speaker? Any electronic you use has so much energy used to make that product, operate that product, and recycle that product. The batteries in our products are the same issue, but worse. In batteries, the materials used to make those batteries often come from countries where they work people to death to gather these materials, including children who are severely abused during their shortened lifespan. Been proven true especially with cell phone batteries. You watch movies or listen to music? How do you think these movies and this music gets produced? Well, it takes a ton of power, energy, battery use, fuel, flights, computers, cell phones, tools, etc. You eat food, right? Well, think about all the fuel, tools, vehicle, travel, often chemicals, etc. that all goes into seeding, growing, harvesting, raising, and shipping. The same can be said for turning these products into the food that we actually eat. You ever eat out at a restaurant? Well, you run into the same problems: energy, waste, power. How do you get where you want to go? Drive or take public transportation? These all take so much power and energy to operate, maintain, produce, and recycle. Do you fly? Well, heck, how terrible is flying for the environment? Do you walk? Well, think about what it took to make those shoes, boots, sandals, whatever you wear on your feet. You wear clothes? How much energy did it take to make that clothing? How much energy did it take to make the materials? What happens to the clothes once you've finished with them? Even if you donate them, they still eventually end up in a landfill. For those who claim that wind power and solar power are far better for our environment, have you looked at the actual output? Neither of these forms of energy production can support a network. They produce far less energy than what it takes to make the product itself. Getting rid of wind towers is a feat in and of itself. They end up digging huge trenches and holes to bury the towers, since there is no way to recycle the product. Do you enjoy sports, games, and hobbies? How much energy do you think went into producing the equipment you are using for this enjoyment? My point is this. Climate alarmists scream about how awful carbon is for the environment. Scientists who speak against this are silenced and shamed by mainstream media. Yet there are thousands of scientists around the world who are in opposition. Is this to say that the climate is not changing? No, the environment is changing. This, however, may very well be a natural cycle of the Earth, much like the Ice Age replacing tropical temperatures, followed by a melt in the most areas of the world. Now we see temperatures rising again in many areas, but that does fit in with the natural cycle we had been seeing before. Cycles that man is not responsible for. If you follow the scientists' timelines, did the dinosaur poop produce enough carbon to destroy their climate? I jest, but seriously, it is pretty arrogant to give humanity so much credit for this. Humans, despite common thought, are not at the center of everything in the universe. If you were going to be a Greta Thunberg, then perhaps you need to get rid of every single product you use that you own. You may as well go naked, walk barefoot, learn to swim across the ocean, stop using electronics, live on the street, stop entertaining and participating in hobbies, don't eat, don't go to get a job, don't live in a house, or even shelter yourself if you are homeless. Basically, if you want to make no negative impact on the environment, perhaps you should just stop breathing, for you are putting out carbon dioxide and wasting our planet's oxygen. Just lay down and die. Sorry, no burial or cremation, for this would have a negative impact on the environment, due to the energy used to accomplish either goal. Heck, you can't even get to your morning cup of coffee, whether it's at home, at work, or even on the way to work, without having impacted the earth negatively in some way. No carbon tax is going to solve these problems. We do need to take care of the environment and minimize the damage that we inflict. We need to work to repair the damages and prevent them. Recycling, tree planting, gardening, composting are all useful and necessary. Finding ways of having less negative impacts and more positives, including our own industries and economy. It is impossible to have no impact. And for everything done, there will be energy and power used, carbon produced. We do need to clean up our act, but the protests and environmentalist suggestions only work in an ideal, perfect world, not our fallen, imperfect world. We need to find better methods of living on our planet. Be considerate. But we still need to live. Stop. Think about your actions. But don't destroy livelihoods over it. After all, it is ironic that these environmental protest camps leave a ton of refuse behind, which takes a lot of time, work, and effort to clean up. And the ones cleaning up are not even the protesters. Many protesters are actually paid to be there. They don't even care about the cause. And you can bet they flew and or drove there. Organization is always done by phones and computers. Just think about that the next time you complain about our impact on the environment. What you yourself are doing that takes energy. What went into making those products you so enjoy and take for granted? Be considerate of the environment, but stop and think about the people of this planet as well. Think about their jobs, food, shelter, and their need to be safe. Don't destroy economies as we see happening. Don't implement useless taxes against carbon usage. Use your brain. Use common sense. Think for yourself. Don't go to Greta and her bankrollers to get information. Don't believe everything scientists preach at you. Do your own research and research multiple views. That way you can formulate an educated, well-rounded opinion. An opinion that is your own, based on information from all angles. Don't be a sheep. The most dangerous thing in our world is an educated person.
Remember to like and subscribe.